We can both look pale together, baby.
Yeah.
Highlights our black eyes. All right.
Yeah, if anybody ever wonders, yeah, we do have... We're not always perky.
Yeah, not always perky, yeah. I can almost guarantee that we're almost never perky.
Well, me anyways.
Speaking of which, hey, welcome to this thing that we do occasionally still.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, here we are at episode 27.
27.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I kind of would like to, I say this every episode since we started, I'd like to do more. But every time I say
Life gets in the way.
I know, every episode, and we seem to actually get worse at it.
Exactly. Although we had good intentions, we listened to this one a while ago.
Like right away after the other one was done. And the good news, though, is that it's albums we're familiar with.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, it's nothing that we've listened to for the first time. We're trying to remember.
I've never heard the first album full through.
Oh.
Although I'm very familiar with the band.
Yeah.
Okay, today's episode.
Yeah.
Episode 27. We have 3 good albums for a change.
Yeah.
Not 2 and 1 bad one. Yeah. Not 1 and 2 bad ones, but 3 good ones.
3 good ones, yeah.
Today's albums are The Guess Who, Wheatfield Soul.
Cue me. Cue me.
There you go. The second one is Dire Straits. Dire Straits. The third one is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
All right.
So there you go.
So yeah, like I said, three known quantities.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dip into the first one.
Okay, The Guess Who is a Canadian rock band formed in Winnipeg in 1965. They gained recognition in Canada first and then found international success from the late 60s through the mid-70s with many hit singles. No Time, American Woman, Laughing, These Eyes, Undone, Share the Land. The band continues to perform and record to this day. Funny fact, again I can't read my writing, they were also known as Alan and the Silvertones.
Oh, were they?
Before they called themselves The Guess Who. Chad Allen and the Reflections, and Chad Allen and the Expressions. So, as you'll note, I guess, by those 3 titles, is that Chad Allen was
he was
leader of the band.
He was involved somehow. That's all we know.
And Wheatfield Soul was released in 1969. Mm-hmm. It was their 4th studio album. But it's noted for bringing the first full-length Guess Who album to feature Burton Cummings on vocals, and the first without the original lead singer, Chad Allen.
Yeah.
I would like to go back and listen to something with Chad Allen. I'm going to sneeze. Probably because they're dusty.
Yeah, I was going to say to people out there, if you're wondering why we do this, we're wheezing and coughing, it's like these are all very dusty and musty, and
they really did come from a crawl space.
Yeah, so that's why if we look like we're having horrible allergies, it's because we are.
Yeah.
And just touching these after a while, it makes you sneeze. And,
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we were big on the Chad Allen.
Yeah, I would like to see or hear something from his day.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit of...
I wonder if Spotify has that stuff.
Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Notable singles from this album was These Eyes.
Mm-hmm. That's the very first song.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So the producer of this album was Jack Richardson, and he was a Juno-nominated Canadian record producer. He worked with the Guess Who from 1969 to 1975 and was responsible for many of their hit singles. He worked with Bob Seger, Alice Cooper, Sword. There's some history behind Sword.
Yeah. And
Badfinger. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Canadian ways things go, a Juno Award is the equivalent of a Grammy in the US, so it's the Canadian Grammy, I guess. So the track listing is, number 1 is These Eyes. Number 2, Pink Wine Sparkles in the Glass. I Found Her Star.
I Found Her in a Star.
Oh, in a Star.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry to correct you there.
That's okay. And Friends of Mine. The second side, B-side. When You Touch Me, A Wednesday in Your Garden. Oh, I love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Lightfoot, very folksy. Oh, never mind. Lightfoot. Yeah, that's what it's called.
The song is called Lightfoot, yeah.
I just kind of jammed everything together there.
Yeah.
Love in a Yellow Rose, Maple Fudge, and We're Coming to Dinner. So that's the track listing.
Yeah, we've done producers and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, songs. I just want to talk about the songs before we get into my stuff here. Okay, well, first of all, I want to say that this was originally my mom's album as a kid.
Yeah.
Like before being married and everything, and she took the liberty of filling in who they were in the front, which we both got a chuckle out of. Because they give you the little clues in the back here, and she's got her name written all over.
Oh, see, I didn't see that.
See, and then it tells you here who they are.
Ah, that explains a few things.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I'm with you. It's for me, obviously, because it's been in the collection forever. So I've listened to this album all the way through a bunch of times, and I like you enjoy it. You have These Eyes and stuff like that. But as a collection, as a whole album, it's pretty good. Yeah. And it's not that it necessarily flows or thematic or anything like that. It's just a good album, and it's crazy that you'd never listened to it before.
No, never.
Wow.
Not that I recall. And despite some of the crazy name titles like Pink Wine Sparkles in the Glass, I really enjoyed this album from front to back. Yeah. And two of my favorite songs on this album are These Eyes and Wednesday in Your Garden.
And These Eyes is probably still one of their biggest songs.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, if not their biggest song.
Yeah. Now, the really cool one that I thought was was Friends of Mine. It's 10 minutes and 4 seconds.
I'm glad you're bringing this up, and I meant to talk about this. Okay, go ahead.
And it's kind of a combination of spoken word, and the music just kind of goes. It's very Doors-like.
It's a Doors song. It's great before it's a Doors song before the Doors.
Well, I just looked it up, and the Doors were formed the same year as the Guess Who. Yeah, and this album came out in 1969. Yeah, because
Jim Morrison saw them play and be like, "Ah, that's a great fucking idea."
Who's inspiring who? I don't know. I don't know. But it was very Doors-like.
It's an amazing song, and like you said, 10 minutes, very proggy.
Yeah, yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually probably my favorite track on the album. Besides, These Eyes is like the single commercial hit. But as an actual song I'm going to go back to, I'll go back to Friends of Mine.
And A Wednesday in Your Garden it did get some airplay, I think. That's how I know it. Yep. But it was never a really big hit. But it's one of my favorites on this album, too. I also really liked Lightfoot. Very folksy music and lyrics with lots of layers. Mm-hmm. Love in a Yellow Rose. I felt it kind of had a very First Nations vibe in parts. And I wrote that it was pretty trippy. I think it was the drumming. I think there was drumming that was consistent with First Nations.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the last song, We're Coming to Dinner, I wrote beside Jazzy. Yeah. So...
Yeah, I just had British influences obvious in quite a few of the songs. It's very that British rock kind of stuff. But also, like I said, there were some heavier parts. Like I said, Friends of Mine is still one of the best songs on there. The best song on there. And we shared a lot of.
Agree with you. Yeah.
We shared a lot of similar notes in terms of music. So, and I'm familiar with this album, so I didn't write much down. But you've kind of covered.
Yeah. So I just wrote that I loved it. Layered, tempo changes, instruments, very well produced, is what I thought.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And like I said, it always surprises me. What year was this? You said, sorry, right at the top.
It came out in 1969.
69. Yeah, it's amazing how
Fourth
sometimes
studio album.
I find these albums, even these older ones that have clearly been used a lot, holy crap, can still sound better than some of the 80s ones we've listened to. Yeah. It's really weird to me. I can't reconcile it. There was like a dip where things sounded really good into the 70s, and then all of a sudden everything got really shitty sounding. Coming into the 80s.
I wonder if at that point they were really going for the profit margin.
Oh, in terms of actual vinyl? Yeah.
Yeah, so they really they really degraded the quality of the vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Totally. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. But anyways, it makes a difference in how when it plays back, and like I said, this is destroyed. So, are still you or me now?
No, you.
Okay.
Over to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say obviously the Guess Who record label was Nimbus 9. I'm gonna go with the actual serial number, catalog number is NNS 102. So I'm just gonna start including that in part of it because that's what this is. So,
Okay.
And like you said, 69. Condition, the cover is poor. It's old, it's faded, it's ripped, it's got lumps and.
Yeah, watermarks and.
It's weird though. It's a solid case. Like.
Yeah, the case, the cover itself isn't falling apart.
It's not falling apart.
It's just really battered and worn.
And it's funny though. It's a pretty solid build.
And lots of writing on it.
The vinyl, poor. Yeah, lots of writing on it. It's like, where's Waldo? The vinyl's in poor condition. There was lots of hits, faded, old, worn. Like it's. I cleaned it up, but it still sounded like it was from 1969 and got played a shit ton. And I would imagine
because it's a good album too.
Yeah, it's a great. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not overly. What I like about it too is that it's not overly long. It's the right length. The cover design by a guy named Nix. Oh crap! I should have absolutely used the Google thing where you can listen to the person's how it's actually pronounced.
Oh, I didn't know you had that ability.
It's up there. Yeah, I'm gonna say this guy's name Specky. Speck. Yeah, that's what I thought. I couldn't find much about him. Also worked with an artist named Bonnie Dobson.
Never heard of her.
And Ben McPeak.
Never heard of him.
Only credits are for RCA and CBC, so the guy who did the cover for this really didn't do much of anything else.
It's kind of trippy. Like it's
Yeah, some cool watercolors. It reminds me definitely like it reminds me of something that you get from the National Film Board videos.
Yeah, like
back in the
one
day.
of those group of 7 paintings or something.
Yeah, that's
and the color
Canadian.
combination is really kind of interesting. You don't see that often in.
Well, they're from Saskatchewan, right? Those
Yeah,
those are the colors, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Anyway, that's really I couldn't really find much about it, so that's what I assumed. Manitoba. Oh, okay. Well, prairies.
Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what they're going for there. No, it's pretty trippy. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't find anything about them. The audio was poor, like I said. So like I said, other than that, if you can find it new, I recommend it. It's a must-own, I think, in the collection.
Sale history.
Oh, I kind of popped ahead of you there.
$7.98 in its worst condition, which I don't think we'd get that much for that.
Nope.
$10.12 mid, $21.21 in mint condition. For me, it's collection worthy, and it would be one that I would consider reinvesting in. To get a new copy of it.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. That's definitely one of those ones for me too. So, all right, there you go. A little of the old wheat field soul down.
That was good. Dire Straits.
Oh, that's me again.
Who we have.
We have had on the show. You know, close friends of the show.
Yes.
Tight with everybody.
I get a birthday card every year.
Every year from Mark Knopfler. Oi!
Hey, Mickey, how's it going?
I don't know how they sound, so.
Sultans of Swing.
Yeah.
So, British rock band formed in 1977 by Mark Knopfler. Yeah. They were active from 1977 to 1988, and again from 1991 to 95. Dire Straits is their first studio album, released in 1978. And man, with this one, did they hit the ground running. They got the world's attention.
Yeah.
The album produced one hit, The Sultans of Swing, but they also released Down to the Water. So the tracks are Down to the Waterline. Oh, yeah, Down to the Waterline. Which was also released. Water of Love. Setting Me Up. Six Blade Knife. Southbound Again. And side 2 is Sultans of Swing, In the Gallery, Wild West End, and Lions.
This is ripped up.
Yeah, it's in really bad shape. The producer, Muff Winwood, which made me laugh when I first read it. And when I did a little bit of research on him, he's the brother of Steve Winwood, who is another British artist that should be fairly well known to everybody. Former member of the Spencer Davis Group. After he left the group, he became a producer. This is Muff, not Mark, or Muff, not Steve.
Yeah.
He's worked with Marianne Faithfull, Nirvana, and Mott the Hoople. His real name is Mervyn.
Oh.
So maybe he liked the muff. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a story behind that one for sure. Yeah. And if it's something like that, that's kind of lame. But
well, true, but aren't a lot of nicknames lame?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Fair enough.
Alrighty. So this album, Dire Straits has such a distinctive sound, and from front to back, again, I really like this album.
Yeah, you got for me right away. You got the hit singles, like you said. You know, you have Sultans of Swing, Six Blade Knife, but yeah, I'm with you. For me, this is one of those albums that I've listened to front to back, even as a kid. It's one of my in the rotation. I loved it. No, it was always got played. It's
coming very apparent to me that my teenage years were spent
wasted
radio listening.
Wasted.
Yeah, in the car. Whereas it's just the opposite these days.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Where we never listen to the radio in the car, and it's all about other sources of
the radio's so closed off, and
so I know nothing about most of the hit singles from today. But
yeah, and like you said, they got a distinct sound. It's weird, you know. There's very kind of I don't want to say a Western sound to it, but it's got a vibe. The whole album's got a vibe to it that I really dig. And like you said, for a debut album, man, that's pretty awesome to come out swinging with this one.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to put a label on. On what the sound is.
Genre?
It's really.
I mean,
it's distinct, and as soon as you hear it, you know it's Dire Straits.
And actually, this is probably the least proggy of all the Dire Straits stuff that we've listened to so far, because we did what was on Love Over Gold. That was way more proggy with longer songs. This is a pretty short snappy song.
Well, it's funny too, and now that we see the back of the cover, I see his brother David played rhythm guitar in the band as well.
Yeah, there's a few variations of this band, I think. I don't know how long this lineup. We visited it in the other episode, and I don't recall.
Yeah, and in interest of repeating verbatim what we've already gone through again.
You guys, if you want to know, go watch it.
If you want to know, go do some research.
Yeah, and I like. I guess we're getting all of this now. That's me.
Yeah. Sure.
Anything else you want to add about the songs? What songs did anyone stand out for you?
I
mean, I see you have Water of Love. And you have Love Beside it. Is that just a song, or that you actually liked it?
That I liked it,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Sultans of Swing, of course, and,
Yeah, something like Six Blade Knife and Sultans of Swing, especially Six Blade Knife. And maybe because it's in my head already, because it's been used. It was used in Desperado, I think, with Antonio Banderas. But to me, it's got that feel to it, like that kind of like that dusty old West kind of. Anyways. We'll get into the rest of it now. Yeah, I could listen to this album a million times over. So yeah, Mercury's a label. Catalog number is label SRM-1-1197. It's an original pressing. So actually, and the other one, and the Guess Who, also original pressing. That's definitely an original run. So yeah, the condition of the cover. Poor. It's ripped, it's faded, it's flimsy, it's got stains, it's not doing well.
It's really discolored.
And like, I just hate how thin and crappy some of these were.
Profit margins.
Yeah. The vinyl's okay, no obvious scratches, deep or damaging. And I think it sounded, from what I remember, it sounded great. Let's see what I said. Excellent considering the age, look at that. It's clean, full dynamics. It had some great bass. In fact, I think I had to turn it down a little bit at one point, just because it was just rumbling.
Yeah, the neighbor moved out because of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The downstairs neighbor.
Too much Sultans of Swing.
Too much bass.
Okay, so this one's kind of I'm just going to run through this as quick as possible. It's quite a bit here. So the design, artwork, painting is handled by a company called Hot House, run by Chuck Loyola.
No. Yeah.
Loyola. Yeah, that's right. Photography was by Paddy Eckersley, and art direction was Alan Schmidt. So Hot House is a UK design / art production house. Worked on dozens of album covers such as Audioslave, Dire Straits, City Boy, Soft Cell. Chuck, who was an in-house painter for Hot House, did this, which I actually have always really liked. I like that whole... It actually captures the fucking music right, the feel of it, like those colors, the warm kind of, it's chilling. You got the breeze coming through. Yeah, like this, but it's so generic too because really, there's nothing there. It's all up to your mind.
There's nothing really distinct. In fact, it kind of looks like there's a girl.
Yeah,
right
really
there,
vague.
But not really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of left up to your imagination on the scene.
Could be a bed, a hotel room. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just picture there's like warm air coming through and the music's on. So.
Smell of lavender.
Yeah. So yeah, Chuck in-house painter for Hot House, worked on albums such as Boomtown Rats, Dire Straits, and The Lurkers. Patty, who was the photographer, you can check him out at paddyeck.com, PADDYECK.com. Worked on other albums from Vince Hill, Edwin Starr, Johnny Mathis, Robin Trower.
Johnny Mathis.
He's just doing photography.
I suppose.
Yeah, and so that's me. I covered that. I've really kind of slimmed down because this was an easy rabbit hole to go down, and then right away I was like, nope, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the next album where
it's like, not because I don't want to. It's just because we talked about this before. Is where do you stop? And I want to streamline some of these episodes. But I want to give some of these guys credit because these are album covers that even if you haven't listened to the album, you would probably know. Like, so anyways, that's my little thing. Any wrap-up notes from me? No? Collection.
Sale history, $12 across the board.
$12.
So no matter what, it's $12.
Yeah, I don't think there's $12 on this one.
No.
The vinyl will be worth it. Worth putting a new cover in. Yeah.
Can we just send you the vinyl?
Yeah, and for my it's collection worthy. For me, it's got to be in there.
Yeah, same here, and again another one that I would reinvest in.
Yeah, so Dire Straits debut down.
Okay, speaking of rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, this is even from a vinyl standpoint, this was a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's such a classic. You almost can't not.
Okay, well,
talk about it.
I want to just start this off kind of reverse. I fucking own this album. Like, if you're into vinyl, and I'm sure you own it in DVD or not DVD, CD, whatever. Just you have to have this.
Go buy it.
Go buy it. It's a must own. Like, let's just get that right out. It's one of the fucking greatest albums of all time. What are we even talking about? And there's a reason for it. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, it's interesting. All of these bands formed the same year, 1965.
The late 60s were a great time for... Yeah. Early 70s were a great time for music, for sure.
Mid-60s. Okay, so Pink Floyd and I'm surprised that this is the first Pink Floyd album we've reviewed.
It won't be the last.
No,
but you're right.
I know that, but
like I said, I think we're getting, as we go more of the collection now, we seem to be getting into
100 albums into it, you'd think that we'd have...
Yeah.
Okay, so Pink Floyd were an English rock band formed in 1965. They achieved international acclaim with their progressive and psychedelic music, their philosophical lyrics, experimentation, extended compositions, and elaborate live shows. They are one of the most commercially successful and influential groups in popular music history. Roger Waters became the band's primary lyricist and conceptual leader and the brain trust behind the concepts of the albums. The Dark Side of the Moon and many of their other successful albums. So then, The Dark Side of the Moon became one of the 2 best-selling albums of all times. Mm-hmm. It's a concept album. Its theme explores conflict, greed, time, death, and mental illness, inspired by the deteriorating health of the founding member, Syd Barrett, who left the band in 1968. The Dark Side of the Moon was their 8th studio album, released on March 1st, 1973. Producer was Pink Floyd. Probably mostly Roger Waters.
Well,
knowing what a control freak he is to this day.
The lyrics are definitely by Roger Waters. He made it clear right there.
The Dark Side of the Moon received critical acclaim upon release and has since been hailed by critics as one of the greatest albums of all time. The record reached number 1 on the Billboard 200 and charted for over 900 weeks, where, if my math serves me correctly, that's about 17 years.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a long time. And
Estimated sales of 45 million copies. Track listing. Number 1, Speak to Me. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Breathe in the Air. Now it's just called Breathe. 3, On the Run. 4, Time. And number 5, The Great Gig in the Sky. Flip It Over, and number 6 is Money, Us and Them, Any Color You Like, Brain Damage, and Eclipse. Now, if probably 8 out of 10 of those songs you've never heard of before, I'd be surprised.
I
because they
agree.
all
How do you
got
not know
pretty much a lot of airplay.
Any of these songs, you could play any one of them.
Yeah.
It's one of those albums.
So each side of the album is a continuous piece of music. The 5 tracks on each side reflect various stages of human life, beginning and ending with a heartbeat, exploring the nature of human experience and empathy.
Yeah, that's why I love these guys so much. And like, I know that other albums we have in this collection coming up are like metal. I don't think Echoes is in there, but it's The Wall. And what's funny, I kind of getting sidetracked by some of the songs too, is that I just want to point out we had like 4 fucking copies of this in the collection.
Yeah.
So
somebody really liked it.
Yeah, we had 4 copies. So
do I have a?
So I just picked the best one, the best condition one, the best looking one. The vinyl's in like pristine, but it's funny, and it became a huge hassle to look it up too, because it was some obscure reprint, which I'll get into. But yeah, so I just picked one. So we have 3 other copies, and I don't know. Maybe there's one in there worth more, or the one that's more obscure. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so for like 4 copies, and we've also, as a side note to that side note, is that we've also discovered we have a lot of copies of other things too.
Yeah.
So that's
because we moved the albums from one spot to another.
Yeah.
So of course it means pulling them all out of
physically moving
the cubbies and then putting them back in. And as we were going through them,
it's like, oh, here's another one of these.
Yeah, Doug started kind of wheeling them over and saying, "Here's another copy of something." And so yeah, we noticed we do have a lot of copies of certain things.
But yeah, like you said, this is a full experience. This album, just I know the sides, but you got to listen to those. You can't just you can just listen to one, but you gotta. For me, I have to listen to the whole thing, and it's not like it's too long.
No,
it's not a long album.
No, but it's not something that you get tired of listening to either.
It was so well produced.
Every song is new and
the details,
different little producing details and sounds, and they use clocks and just so many. Well,
and it goes to. And we're going to get into we're kind of dipping in all over in this one. So, in this one, honestly, at this point, I think we should just go fucking free for all. Because this album sounded, this is 70, this album? 73. This album still sounds better than almost any other album we've listened to.
Yeah. And I chalk that up to...
like the mastering and everything, and the quality, it's probably, and it's from 73. Like I said, we've listened to somewhat more modern albums that don't even come close to fucking the sound field or the depth or...
Well, I really chalk that up to Roger Waters and his clear vision of what they wanted to do and be, and how he wanted things to sound, and like, it's almost like he knew they were going to be this epic.
And it's a solid case again too. It was it was definitely hopefully, because like it really started burning down the band too. Because,
true. His need to control everything and
Okay, so for me. Label is Harvest. The catalog number is SMAS-11163. It's a reissue.
This one in particular is a reissue. We're not sure of the other 4.
Not sure of the year. What year this is reissued either, because it didn't list it on there. But whatever year it is, this is variant 2 of that reissue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was a.
It'd be interesting to know what the difference is. Like, sometimes, what could be different?
Sometimes it's just the labeling, or where something's placed in the label. Something could be how it's etched on the outside.
Yeah, you're the expert on that.
Sometimes it's if there's a song there or not.
Yeah, that's in my experience.
Like, it could be such small things that said it. So it was digging around. It took some time. The cover's in medium. There's some fade, just like little bits in here. It's a black album. What's gonna happen? But honestly,
it's in really good shape.
That's a sellable. Like that's.
Considering the shape of some of the others, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no stains. The sleeve is plastic, and it does come with a poster, which is in pretty much pristine, just like the one. Well, it's behind it here, but we have it hanging up back there now. There's no stickers. It says it's supposed to come with stickers and everything. But there's no stickers in there, so that would have been fucking cool to have a Pink Floyd sticker. Mm-hmm. But no, vinyl, excellent. No scratches, clean. Sounded great. As I said, what vinyl should sound like. And there was only one problem. We listened to the whole fucking album except the last minute of the song, I think. Oh, at the end of Any Color. So which Any Color is... Okay, so there. Any Color had a hard skip.
8. Song 8. On side 2.
And I don't remember seeing one, but it had a hard skip to the point I had to get up and do something about it.
Yeah.
So that sucked because everything sounded so good. Hypnosis. Again, this Pink Floyd, it's Hypnosis. They do it all for these guys, cover-wise. And specifically, the guy's name was George Hardy. George Hardy designed this and a lot of other bands you probably own the albums for or T-shirts for. It's amazing to me. I know we dipped into this last time, and every time these guys come up, they will come up a lot. And it's just how influential and game-changing these guys were. So George Hardy, he was a graphic designer, illustrator, best known for his work on album covers. Zeppelin, Floyd, Genesis, Wings, Alan Parsons. You know the Alan Parsons with the robot on it and the tubes and shit?
Yep.
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, I know that one well.
Yeah.
That one I did listen to when I was in...
Oh, okay. And that's coming up.
Because
that was also one we had like 6 copies or 4 copies of it as well.
Because I had a music teacher...
He liked Alan Parsons.
Who told us in class one day, you've got to listen to this album. He was young and just out of school, and...
That's pretty cool. He gave a shit. Probably smokes a little bit of weed.
Maybe. Wouldn't surprise me, but yeah.
So, to wrap up my notes for this, it's just a complete, from start to finish experience. It's a gold fucking standard of like how to do an album from start to finish in every aspect. Audio mix is amazing. One of the top 2 of all time albums, probably, or not probably. I has it as one of my top 2 albums of all time.
Yeah, and it's proven in the stats. Yeah.
So yeah, and I say so. My final thing is get high and play this. So, and I actually have some fun facts.
Oh, cool!
I'm sorry.
Go crazy.
Sales from this album went to fund the Monty Python's The Holy Grail. Pink Floyd and Zeppelin, Elton John all funded Monty Python's The Holy Grail entirely.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
So without the proceeds of this album and Zeppelin,
we may never have heard of
Monty Python's Holy Grail. Might not have given no. It was all about not tax evasion, but trying to avoid taxes. They rebates, so they fund arts and film. So they get rebates,
investments,
right?
or philanthropy, or whatever you want to call it.
So that's how they did it. So
and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
This, that owes itself to this. So that's pretty cool. The singer in The Great Gig in the Sky sued the band and won because they did not pay her.
The female singer, the one that does the
They decided not to pay her, so then she sued and she gets the proceeds, 50% owner of the song. So anytime they use a song anywhere, she gets 50% of it.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, so there.
Didn't she tour with Roger Waters though on like recently?
The Wall and stuff?
Didn't we see her?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
And money.
They obviously kissed and made up.
Yes, I think so. I think it was so long. It's like, let's go tour now that I own 50% of the song. Let's get out there.
Let's go earn me some money.
The last thing I'll say is Money was, or is, played in 7/4 time, which David Gilmour hated. So, of course, Roger Waters did it. And I think that's the only reason that it's in 7/4 time is because David Gilmour hated it.
Oh, poor David Gilmour.
It's a must own.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. So, sale history.
Yeah.
Really interesting. In its worst condition, $14.99.
Wow.
Mid condition, $27.13. And in mint condition, $53.20.
$53.20, I know.
That's for this. This one might be the most expensive one.
It's
potentially
right
expensive one that we have in our
and
collection.
This is a reissue, a variant 2 of a reissue, and it's worth $50-some in good condition. That's insane to me. That's what I mean about those other copies that we have sitting there. I sometimes wonder if it's worth the effort to go through and should I put them into our collection?
I would say yes.
Just put all the duplicates in there because they're not. What about duplicates that are exactly the same run? Because that's also another thing.
No, I wouldn't. If they're the exact same, I wouldn't.
No.
I would just put anything different.
Just kick the camera. Sorry.
It wasn't an earthquake.
No, it's just me kicking.
It was a footquake.
Yeah. So, 53. So, what's your take?
Collection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the good news is that we don't have to reinvest in it because one of the 4 volumes that we've got are probably...
I'll have to reinspect the vinyl to see about that hard skip, but I'm with you.
We could probably take the best album and put it in the best cover.
Keep it the cover and switch. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm absolutely with you. We don't need to go and get a remaster. This is
No.
good.
No.
All right. Floyd.
Unless we had some money that we didn't know what to do with.
Floyd
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, because you could get a heavier... Some of the remasters out there are really thick vinyl. And... but yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think for just even... nostalgia's sake there, just keep, like you said, pick the best ones out of there and just keep it there.
Yeah.
Right on the steam, baby?
Yeah.
Good news is we're done this episode.
We are.
Alright, subscribe, all that shit.
So, Pink Floyd down.
Yeah, so that kind of a little bit half and half. But, Floyd down, and there will be more. And I'm already looking forward to the next one. I don't know what they are specifically, but I know that we're into a better grouping of albums. There will be at least 1 or 2 good albums every go now. I guarantee that.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we decided to do was take out. We got a box of albums from our old landlord, and
we did.
I'm pretty sure we decided to take them out.
Yeah, we separated that and separated any kids albums from
and took out the kids albums as well.
Now, if you, we can do those episodes sometime, but they're not important right now. So.
No, not important right now.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Good stuff.